Human reality is incredibly messy. We rely on hallway conversations, panicked emails, and sudden bursts of inspiration. But to get work done at scale, we must take all that chaotic, real-world context and compress it all into rigid, uniformly dull boxes. In the industry, we call them issue trackers. For years, the dream has been to escape this bureaucracy. Prominent tech leaders have recently declared that issue tracking is dead, operating on the assumption that AI will finally rescue us from the misery of manual data entry by just reading our emails and doing the work for us. Which makes a recent whisper in the tech industry so baffling. A rumor circulated that Anthropic, a highly advanced AI lab, might acquire Atlassian, the ultimate purveyor of legacy ticketing systems, for $40 billion. Why would the creators of bleeding-edge, autonomous AI want to spend tens of billions of dollars on the most universally hated, mind-numbing software ever invented? To answer that, we have to stop treating AI agents like infallible superbrains, because when you give these systems complex, long-running tasks, they fail in the exact same ways humans do. Autonomous AI operates using a mechanism called a context window. You can think of this as the agent's short-term working memory, the total amount of text it can hold in its head at one time, and it is strictly finite. If a task spans multiple days or involves complex branches of logic, that context window eventually drifts, truncates, or resets entirely. The agent simply forgets what it was doing. Now imagine deploying hundreds of these agents at once without a strict hierarchy. If every agent just runs directly toward the goal, the system completely breaks down. They pick up the exact same tasks, lock each other out of shared files, and wait endlessly on approvals that never come. To solve this coordination chaos, the agents desperately need an external memory bank. They need a permanent place outside of their own fragile context windows to log who owns a task, what status that task is in, and what permissions they have to execute it. The very bureaucratic guardrails humans created to compensate for our forgetfulness and poor communication turn out to be the exact architectural requirements for AI to function independently. We started building these structures decades ago. In the late 1990s, early software teams were trying to coordinate across different time zones without losing track of progress. They built simple, narrow tools, like Mozilla's Bugzilla, specifically to manage software defects. By solving that narrow human problem, developers accidentally built what engineers call a state machine. This is a bounded digital reality, governed by strict rules. A ticket can be new, it can be assigned, resolved, or fully closed. It requires clear logging, exact timestamps, and very strict ownership. This rigid environment is what a modern AI model craves. When OpenAI recently published Symphony, a framework for deploying autonomous coding agents, they explicitly used Linear, a strict traditional issue tracker, as the literal control plane for the AI agents, pulling assignments from an in-progress column and writing data back into review. Issue trackers now serve as the underlying control plane for agent coordination, providing the essential data layer for autonomous work. This pattern extends far beyond software engineering. It introduces the theory of the agent substrate. An agent substrate is any piece of software that enforces persistent records, explicit ownership, and a highly visible audit history. These tools provide a clear, readable map for AI to navigate. Take sales platforms, for example. Customer relationship management platforms like Salesforce function as issue trackers for revenue. They structure accounts, track contacts, and define precise stages for deals, creating a structured environment for an AI to research leads and draft proposals. The logic holds across the entire enterprise. Service desks track customer complaints with precise escalation paths. Enterprise resource planning software tracks warehouse inventory and payroll through rigid approval workflows. These tools provide the exact geographical maps AI needs to move through a company. We see the importance of this structure when we look at where AI struggles. If an agent tries to determine the status of work based solely on a sprawling, unstructured chat thread in Slack or a lawless spreadsheet, the AI is forced to guess the context. That leads to hallucinations and massive operational failures. And naturally, this creates an enormous strategic moat for the tech giants. The companies that already own these unsexy systems of record possess an incredibly valuable advantage that flashy new AI startups cannot easily replicate. AI agents scale by operating through these established enterprise tools. Companies with the most disciplined workflows and high-integrity data architectures hold the significant strategic advantage in an agentic landscape.